Well, today we're just going to smoke up a good eating brisket. And to start out, we're just going to buy a cheap brisket. It's like $3.99 a pound. 14 pounder, you do the math. And try to make it taste like a $12 a pound brisket. So to do that, we're going to start off with 2 cups of hot water, about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of this better than bouillon roasted beef base. Find you your favorite hot sauce and shake in just a tad of that. Then a little MOJO beef. Give her a good stir, and that's going to be our injection. Let's set it to the back and let that cool off while we trim up this brisket. Now this cook actually started 28 days ago when I picked this brisket up. I stuck it in the fridge outside and wet aged this thing. And all that's going to do is help those fibers start breaking down over time. Alrighty, for the trimming, we're just going to cut off any hanglies and danglies and be uncool YouTuber and throw it in the trash. Alright, so we're going to show you this whole trim, but don't worry, I'll speed it up. Let's worry about this decal. Let's get that off because that's hard fat. We don't want hard fat. Now I'm not going to take it all the way out. We're just going to take the majority of it out till it looks something like this. And then we're just basically going to go here, just take off any unwanted silver skin and fat, which this is going to be the bottom of the brisket this cooked, and any thick fat, any thin edges, or anything you don't want. Take the back fat down, or the top fat here, to about 1/4 inch. That'll be good. That'll keep everything basted up. Any brown meat on the side, as you can see here, it's a little thin meat-wise, so we'll just take this off, round it, make it aerodynamic. Some people say it's because that heat will just flow right over it in the cooker. I say it's, when it turns out not any good, you can throw it and it'll just fly across the room to the garbage can. Alrighty, just keep trimming, rounding off the edges, make it pretty, just like this, and there you have it. Give her a rub down saying, "Man, I made you look good, girl." That's it. Now all we gotta do is get on to the seasoning. We're gonna use MOJO beef. Why MOJO beef? Because it's good and it's beefy. Guess that's, yeah, just use MOJO beef. So get a nice coat of that on the, just gonna be the bottom. And then get you some 16 mashed black pepper. Hit it with a little bit of it because I like that peppery taste. Let it set for about 10 minutes till it looks like this, and let's flip her over. Like I said, we're going fat side up this cook. Get her on a wire rack where it won't be sitting in the excess injection. And just pump her full. We're going to try to get all 2 cups in her. Well, if it keeps squirting out, it ain't going to work. Anyway, get her all in there. Don't wear good clothes because this is a messy job. Now that I think I've got about all I can in there, all it's going to hold, we're going to take off just a little bit of this extra juice on top because I don't want y'all to think that I'm using a binder. And repeat the rub process. A lot of MOJO beef and a good helping of 16 mesh black pepper. Alright, that's it. Pat her in. Let's let this set. We're going to go fire up the old Outlaw. As my routine goes with firing it up, we're going to start out with a little Fogo charcoal. I run out of one bag. Oh, that string just comes right out of there. Fill her up, get her lit, leave your vents wide open because we want this grill to get hot. 375, 400. And that's where I'm going to put this brisket on. As I said, fat side up with your point towards the firebox. And what's starting out 375, it'll plump this brisket up and hopefully seal up them injection holes. That way that injection will stay in. Pat her again, tell her you'll see her in a little bit. Shut her down. Now, get your vents closed back and let it fall down to 300 over time. And that's going to take about an hour and a half. And this is what you have. It's already looking good. I want to pick it up and show you, but it keeps burning my hand. But as you can see, the edges are starting to get a little rough. So I want to do a little spritz. And for that spritz, we're going to use equal parts water and apple cider vinegar and just a little skosh of Worcestershire sauce just for a little more flavor. Get out there, spray her down. Now this here, I wouldn't be scared to wrap it 2 hours. But we're gonna let this thing go. We're gonna let this fat, because I'm not used to cooking fat side up. We're just gonna let her get good and barky. And there we have it. We're looking at about 3.5 hours right here. This thing is looking good. Looking kind of like Texas. We're setting at 175, so that's about wrapping time. What I want to do, I'm going to spritz one more time, get just a little bit more smoke on her. I forgot to mention, I am a Tennessee boy, so we're using good old split of hickory. It's good. It don't always have to be post oak. Shut her down. Come back in about 30 minutes. Let's get her off. I say she's looking good. You know, I don't want to brag on myself, but I'm pretty happy. Look how that thing plumped up. Gonna be a good brisket. Well, let's get her wrapped up. We don't want to get any darker. By doing that, we're going to be using a little butcher paper. Spritz it down just to make it easier to handle. Put that brisket in the middle and wrap her up. I don't know if there's a correct way to wrap. You do you. This is the way I do it. Just roll her over, tighten her up, fold the sides, fold the back, fold the blah, 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 and just make sure that the fat side is still up. Alrighty, there we go. Now, we're going to go back on. And I'm thinking, in my mind, it's going to take about another 1.5 hours, 2 hours. What I'm looking for is an internal temperature of about 205, maybe 7. I don't know. I'll decide later. Alrighty, now let's take this and get her back out on that pit. Still needle straight up. 300. MOJO tips a day. Clean your grates, and your paper or your foil won't stick to the grates. Alrighty, close her down. And I forgot, a good way to check that there temperature internally is put a thermometer in. Should have done that a while ago, but I didn't. 2 hours later, we are setting at 204.8. I figured that was a better temperature for tenderness. Another way to check it is to pick it up and squeeze. If it feels like a nice little pillow of perfection, you know you've hit perfect tenderness. Or use your thermopin, and if it feels like nothing is in that butcher paper, you've nailed it. Alright, so I got a late start on this cook, so we're going to have to hold this thing overnight. This is where I'd usually put it in a poor man's Cambro, but I can't. We're going to have to put it in the oven. So I'm going to let it set out on the countertop for about 2 hours, and then put it in my oven at 170 degrees for 12 hours. That 12 hours is up, and here we have it. That little perfect pillow of perfection. Let's get her out. Look at that jiggle. Look at that bark. This right here, boys and girls, it's going to be good. Now all we got to do is check, see which way the grain's running, because I forgot to mark it, and start slicing, and slice against that grain. So we've always got to have that reveal shot, and voila, there it is. That's a good one, wasn't it? Finish slicing her up. Oh, hold on, I forgot to tell you. Take a bite of that second slice. If it's got a little moisture and it's tender, you know the rest of this brisket is going to be straight up awesomeness. And this is. I won't bore you with slicing the whole brisket, but we will slice this piece and let it fall over. Alright, go on, buddy. Let's get to the... Pick it up. Let's see. Does it pass the bend test? It does. It passes that bend test. It's almost on the point of just falling apart. And that's what makes a good eating brisket. It pops apart. Man, look at that fat. Ooh, I just want a bite of that right now. Alrighty, and just to show you, we do have a smoke ring. We have moisture, we have tenderness, we have let's see, smoke ring. I think we about got it all. Let's see if we got moisture down here. Oh yeah, we do. And this here, you look and see, we have about an even ratio of point to flat. So I think, instead of cutting it against the grain, or cutting it like they do in Texas like here, I'm just gonna, Ooh, look at that jiggle. I want this slice right here because that's going to be the best slice of the brisket. I mean, I've got half flat. I've got half point. It's going to be good. So here we go. Let's taste it, feller. Come on. What do you think about it? Oh, dude. I mean, there's the beefiness from the beef, and the beefiness from the injection, and the rub, and the bark, and the, man, hands down, best brisket to date. That's it. I'm going to go call my mama and tell her I'm a good cook. Mojo out.